Hi, this issue's rudiment is the Flam accent, sometimes referred to as Flam triplets, because basically it's a Flam played on the first note of a group of triplets, a group of 3 notes. Because we're playing this with alternating single strokes, that means that the Flam on the first group of 3, if we start with the right hand, will be played as a right hand Flam, but the next group of 3 will be a left hand Flam. In other words, the Flams are going to alternate hand to hand. So we'll begin with the alternating single strokes as triplets. So 1, 2, 3, and. And now every time I will step in the hi-hat, I'll play a Flam. So let's play that a little more slowly so that we can see what's going on. The first point I'll just make is that I'm trying to keep all of the notes, including the grace notes, at the same sort of height, really low, down at my sort of ghost note kind of height. And only the accented note is coming up high. This is something that can really help differentiate between the direction of the Flam. One of the most common mistakes with this rudiment is to actually play, even though you're playing underlying single strokes, is to still play the same direction Flam both times instead of making sure it switches. So a little more slowly. It can be worth just playing the Flams in either direction on their own, just as single Flams, just to make sure they feel as comfortable each way. So this for me is a left hand Flam because the left hand is playing the accented note. And then a right hand Flam. I'll just play the basic rudiment from slow to fast. And once you're reasonably comfortable with that, it can be quite effective to move the accented note onto the kit. So, for example, we could put it on the tom, so your right hand accent low tom, left hand accent high. Often when drummers play Flams on the kit that way around, where the grace note is falling on the snare, they tend to play them as flat Flams, in other words, where the 2 notes actually fall simultaneously. So it almost creates this illusion that one person is playing the snare and one person is playing the toms. Again, we can do that same thing on the cymbals with the bass drum underneath. And finally, in example 4, we're going to play the Flam accent with a 4/3 reference. To do that, we're going to play it in a 16th note rate, and we'll play 2 of the Flam accent. So in other words, there'll be 4 Flams in the bar. And those 4 Flams will be given as a dotted 8th note reference against the quarter note. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. By playing one more beat on the end of that, we're back into the more familiar 4/4, and we've got a nice 1 bar fill.